1.5 years ago, I uploaded a video onto this channel titled I Hate My Voice. Here is a snippet of that video.
Is this why girls are so cold around me for literally no reason? Because, I take care of my appearance. I go to the gym on a regular basis and stuff because I want to look as good as possible. And I constantly work on myself. I feel like I have so much to offer. I feel like I could be an amazing boyfriend, but it feels like nobody wants to give me a chance. And I believe now that it's because of this stupid spurgy ass voice that I have.
That video ended up being the best performing video ever on this channel. It reached like 2,000 views. And a lot of comments were saying that there is nothing wrong with my voice, that my voice is not that bad. And the thing is, there is nothing wrong with my vocal cords. But the problem has always been with how those vocal cords were being used. You see, I have autism, and a lot of people were able to tell that I am autistic simply from my voice, the way I speak. And there is this person that perfectly describes what it's like to have the autistic voice or autistic way of talking.
This message is for people who talk like me, and people who have speech traits in common with me. This is for people who have multinational or multi-regional accents, for people who talk autistic with the super clicky, hard consonants and the slightly nasal vowels. This is for people who code switch but badly, so that both dialects are always a little bit present even if you're only trying to speak one. This is for you. I have more than one regional accent, and I talk autistic, and I grew up with an enormous complex about my speaking voice. This is not for no reason. My literal first memory of being around other children is a memory of those children making fun of my accent, and then over the course of my young life, I had really just a few, but especially nasty comments about the way that I spoke. Usually accusations that I was putting on an act to manipulate them in some way, to make them feel stupid, to make myself seem more intelligent or more interesting than I deserved to be. Like I said, I didn't hear those things that many individual times, but it was enough for me to grow up with a complex, to grow up walking around just assuming that everybody felt that way about me. And then 5 years ago, I started blowing up on social media, and I started to have an audience, and I started to have comment sections. And I did get the comments I was afraid of. I did hear the things that I was afraid everybody thought about my speaking voice. But those comments were outnumbered dozens to one by a very different narrative. It turned out lots and lots and lots of people really liked the way that I spoke. I heard that my voice was beautiful, that it was sexy, that it was clear and easy to understand for people who were just learning English, or for people who had auditory processing or other hearing disabilities. For the first time ever in my life, I felt good about my speaking voice. So now I just want to take all of that much-needed validation and pass it on to everybody else who talks like this. Your voice is beautiful, and you have the right to use it to express yourself with pride.
And yes, there are benefits to having a voice like this. It is good for people that are learning English or people who have auditory problems. In those cases, it is good to have to talk in an autistic way. Also, I have met at least one autistic guy that had clearly an autistic way of speaking. He was speaking in a monotone voice all the time, and I thought it was cute. I actually liked the fact that he was having that monotone voice. So why am I insecure about my voice? Why was the video titled I Hate My Voice. Even though there are good things about this kind of way of speech, and even though some people might think it's cute, like me, in that I thought it was cute in that other autistic guy. Well, you see, what people don't understand is that there is a time and place for a voice and a speech like this. And then there is a time and place where this way of speaking is highly inappropriate. Yes, I think it is good to speak in like an autistic way when you are talking to someone with an auditory problem, or when you are talking to people that are learning English. The problem is that what I want in my life, what I want is not necessarily to be like an English teacher or to provide some kind of visual, auditory aid for people that have auditory impairments. No, what I want to achieve in life is to be attractive to girls. Be more attractive to girls. When I was in high school, I used to think that I was this alpha male, Chad, that I was this guy that girls had crushes on and girls fantasized about wanting to date and all that, and that made me happy. But one day, after every single girl that I was interested in rejected me, I was confused. I was like, how can those girls reject me? I am this alpha male. I am this super attractive Chad. Until people told me that I am not a Chad. I am not this alpha male. And that made me quite miserable. And I want that happiness back. I used to be happy when I thought I was attractive in high school. I want to be happy again. So I want to become attractive. But not only that, it's not just like selfish reasons, but also I want to do my future woman a favor. I don't really have to go too much into like red pill talk, because I know that a lot of people might find this cringe, especially like women watching this video. But what I will say is, I have heard a lot of horror stories where a girl chose to settle down with a guy either because she felt bad for him or because the guy provided stability. And this is why the girl was willing to become a girlfriend for this guy and marry this guy and have children with this guy. But the girl was not attracted to the guy. The girl was not satisfied in the relationship. She wasn't happy being in a relationship with this guy. And so the girl then fantasized about going out and cheating with a guy that she would be attracted to. And so many times what happened was the guy got cheated on. The girl was secretly sleeping around with the attractive alpha males while the man was being cocked, and some of the children then might not have even been his own, and then there has been like paternity fraud, you know, and then the marriage / relationship ended up in a miserable divorce. I don't want that to happen to me. But I also don't want this to happen to my future woman. First of all, I don't want to be a cock. I don't think I deserve to be this kind of cock. But also, I don't want my future woman to be in a position where she is unhappy being with me. And she fantasizes about going out and cheating on someone that she can feel attracted to, like the alpha male. I don't want that to my future woman. I want her to be grateful for being with me. I want my future woman to be attracted to me romantically, sexually, and all of that. And because of that, I think it is important for me to work on myself, to become an alpha male. A lot of people will say, you should not change who you are, you should be yourself. And the problem with that mentality is that I have been myself for so long, and every single girl I was interested in was brutally rejecting me. So it has not been working out. Sure, maybe in the future I will change my plans, I will change my ways, and I will decide that maybe it is better to be physically unattractive and repulsive to girls, but be yourself, rather than being highly desirable to women, but not being yourself and lose yourself in the process. Maybe that's what I will decide in the future, that, I prioritize being myself the most. But right now, what I prioritize right now is to become as attractive as possible and do my future woman a favor. Make sure that my future woman can be grateful for being with me. This is what I want to accomplish right now, and I don't think it hurts to at least try. At least work hard and see if I can become that highly desirable alpha male. And so, in order to become that, I have realized that I need to work on certain things within myself so that I can become that highly desirable alpha male. But one of the things that I have to work on is my voice. Well, not my vocal cords, but how I am using my vocal cords, the way I am speaking. You see, my voice, yes, it can be perceived as cute. It can be perceived in a good way for people that are learning English. But when it comes to making girls wet down there, making girls excited about wanting to date me and sleep with me, then this voice is a huge problem and is really not good, and it has to go away. I don't care that that person has said that this voice is sexy by some people. I have realized the harsh truth that my voice is not sexy. Girls will say, "Oh, I find your voice sexy," but then they don't want to have sex with you. I have received comments from girls saying that they think I am cute. None of them have asked me out on a date. Granted, maybe those girls do have crushes on me, but they are too scared to admit that, so I plan on doing a social experiment later on. But I have still experienced, in real life, girls telling me, "Oh, you are okay the way you are." But then those girls don't want to date me. And yes, I am okay the way I am. But I am not okay the way I want to be. Like I said, I want to be an alpha male. I want to be this highly desirable man that my future woman can be grateful for being with. And for that I have realized that my voice, the autistic voice, is not good. First of all, girls are usually into deep voices. The deeper a man's voice is, the more attractive the voice is perceived to a woman. Listen to, for example, Hamza's voice. Hamza is seen as this highly attractive man. he has slept with multiple women. But listen to his voice. His voice is literally one of the reasons why women are interested in sleeping with him.
Tell me, bro. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.
You hear how deep his voice is. His voice is like, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah! And the thing is, my voice is supposed to be deep as well. Because when I was singing in a choir, I was singing bass. Not tenor, not even baritone. I was singing bass. So technically, when it comes to my vocal cords, I am supposed to have like a naturally deep voice. But when I speak in most of my videos, I come off as a goddamn tenor. I just fail to speak in this like deep register. Instead, I end up speaking in a more high-pitched register. I think it's because of my autism. And as a result, people have pointed out that I sound like a dork when I speak. That I sound like a nerd. What those people mean is that I sound like a spurg. I sound like a disgusting spurg when I talk like that. Which is not ideal when you are trying to be like this alpha male that makes women wet down there. Also, like this person mentioned with the clicky hard consonants. I have noticed in many of my videos that I speak indeed with hard clicky consonants, which is not good in the context of trying to be attractive. It is good when you are trying to be understood and speaking to people that are like beginners in English or people that have those auditory problems. But when it comes to trying to attract the opposite gender, this is not good. And I'm gonna explain why. You see, I have been on self-improvement for a while now, and I have realized that one of the essential factors in being this alpha male and making women wet is having the ability to flirt. Basically having riz. Having charisma. Being able to flirt with women when talking to them. Being able to tease girls and all that. Now, I am currently in Hamza's Adonis school. I am a member there. And luckily for me, Hamza has launched like a flirting guide in that course. I'm not trying to advertise Hamza's Adonis school through this video, but or maybe I am. I mean, Hamza literally teaches flirting, like flirting 101, how to flirt with girls as a guy to be more attractive. So yeah, I would say Adonis school is good, at least based on that. But I've personally not seen the flirting course yet, because the Adonis school works in a way that you have to be like a member there for like a few months or so, and only then does the flirting course unlock. So I have to still be in the Adonis school for a while before the flirting course unlocks. But I can say that I have already tried to flirt with girls, you know? And the way I try to flirt with girls is that I try to tease them every now and then, you know? For example, I will ask a girl, what do you do, like, on a daily basis? And the girl says, for example, oh yeah, I wanted to study in university, but I ended up working instead. So then I will flirt, I will be this like playful, try to be this like playful alpha male. And so I will tease this girl, I will make a joke and say, for example, oh, you were not good enough for university, huh? You were not good enough for university, so you chose work instead. I see. And what I have realized about flirting is that flirting doesn't work when it's being said by this spurgy voice. When you flirt in like this soft, playful tone, and you say, "Oh, you're not good enough for university, huh?" Then like it creates this like playfulness, you know? And so it excites the woman, and the woman gets wet down there, she gets turned on. But instead, if you say it like this, "Oh, so you were not good enough for university, huh?" Then it just comes across as an insult. And the girl then is like, "Oh, are you insulting me?" And the girl just like genuinely gets like insecure and gets like unpleasant feelings. And so that way I have learned that when you are trying to flirt with women, when you as a man, you try to be this attractive alpha male, you cannot have a spurgy voice, at least when you're talking to pretty girls. And apparently, I have been flirting with a spurgy voice, which is fucking embarrassing to say the least. Imagine me thinking I'm this alpha male, and then me trying to have riz, and I'm like, "You were not good enough for university, huh?" And I say this with like this high pitch and the clicky consonants. "You were not good enough for university, huh? So you chose a job. Are you stupid or what?" Compared to saying like, "Oh, are you stupid or what?" I don't know. I like I said, I still have to work on like how to flirt properly in a way that actually turns a woman on and doesn't come off as autistic / spurgy. And people have recommended that I should get a speech therapist. I personally don't think that is necessary. I don't think I have to learn how to sound normally. I think I just have to learn how I have to simply remember to sound normally. I have to remind myself to sound normally, especially when I'm talking to pretty girls. And so what I think I have to do is I simply have to speak normally more often. So that way I get more used to like a normal speech. And if you might be watching this video and you might be thinking, "Oh, this guy's voice is not that bad." Well, it's because I'm trying kind of to sound normal in this video, because I am talking about my voice right now, you know? So I get a little bit self-conscious, I get a little bit self-aware at the moment, so I'm almost trying to fake my voice to sound normal. But in many of my other videos, if you watch like my other videos on this channel, you will notice that I just sound like a fucking spurg and I just talk like this all the time. So I am trying to train myself to speak in a more normal way. And I'm gonna continue for like one more minute, just trying to practice a little bit more of my voice. Hi, I'm Mateus, also known as Matthew. I'm trying to sound a little bit normal. I'm trying to sound more normal so that I can sound more like an alpha male. Oh, right. Yeah, right. I need to sound deeper. I need to talk in a deeper register so that I can come off as more attractive, so that I can be an attractive alpha male and not be this spurgy dork. So, yeah, I hope you understand. Let me know what you think about my voice, and please be brutally honest with your feedback. Thank you. Hopefully my voice is good right now. At the very end of the video, my voice is perfect, right?